Melcifer sends a ghost envoy to the Corville's keep, demanding reparations of 50 years plus interest to pay for the arm Kel Corville cut from Jason the Smith. The spectre makes it all the way to the keep, and the guards try in vain to stop it, but it finds the Lord to deliver the demands. With matters of court dealt with, Melcifer creates a specialist skeleton that he sends to Gator Beach with some skeletal guards to collect souls. When he visits town to check up on production, Bates brings him 3 freshly delivered Corville sacrifices. Soon blacksmith Jason has a new and improved hand that comes with extra strength, and he puts it to work improving Melcifer's breastplate. In the meantime, more soldiers are recruited, and the specialists return with 10 souls and a previously lost skeletal warrior. 8 of the souls are used in the creation of more specialists. But 2 claim to know where to find rare herbs, and so merciful Melcifer spares them at least until they are properly assessed. 4 of the specialists are sent out to patrol and keep the lands of winter safe. He also sends out a group of tax collectors to keep the souls flowing. Soon scouts report back that a large enemy force has arrived, and so Melcifer recalls all his troops and prepares for war. They clash, and soon the lands of winter runs red with the blood of the weak summer children. At the end of the battle, while Melcifer is reaping his due, he notices that these troops are not from Pine Spur, as he first thought, but the forces of the Corville family. Will Melcifer get his cultists matching robes? Will he find other Gadian families to join his cause? What fresh horrors can Lilith stitch up? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dicing with Death. How are you doing, Ryan?
Hello. I'm doing well. Doing well. How are you? How are you, dear viewers?
I can't speak on their behalf, but I'm doing well. There were some people working on phone lines and power lines right next to my house. And at one point, their dual cherry pickers fucked up, and they got like one of the wires caught under the picker as it was coming down, and they were yelling at each other to stop because the line was about to break. And so I'm slightly worried that I'm going to lose power and we're all going to die. But it should be fine.
Yeah, let's hope they're working on, well, actually the power would be bad too. Something useless like the phone
or internet, yeah.
Well, we do need that.
Damn it. Well, it should be fine.
Yeah, as long as myself and chat stays connected, we can take care of the campaign. We don't really need you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about what Melcifer wants. I'm just here to facilitate that. You can do it without me.
Well, do we have any updates? Any pre-show to
let's see, we're going to be doing a flashback from Budarius for Akuba Nights tomorrow.
Ooh, we're doing announcements. Announcements up front. Is that where we're going?
Yeah, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, everybody.
I'm not on YouTube yet. This is still the present, Neal.
Oh no.
We're still on Twitch.
I guess that's it. There might also be a thing this Sunday.
It might.
It depends if all the players can make it. I don't know. We'll see.
Are we not hyping this thing up?
Well, I wasn't sure if our cast could attend. I got a pretty wobbly answer from one player.
All right. That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Super secret hypety hype. An announcement of an announcement, right?
Yes.
Maybe cool things will happen on Sunday if
I'll PM our cast and hopefully they'll get back to me before the next break. And that way I can announce it.
So you have to tune in through the whole episode if you want super secret hypety hype. We're announcing that an announcement is going to be made in
about an hour,
in the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's all. Just skip ahead to the YouTube VOD to the end where it tells you to like and subscribe and.
But we never do that because
smash that follow button or whatever the.
Oh man,
whatever the marketing gurus do these days.
Do all the things, right? Or don't. Just live your life, man. Just live your life.
Or your death if your name happens to be Jimmy and you're a zombie.
Yeah. Little Jimmies. There's too many of them.
Over the past week, Neal did his homework and he sent me our casualty report.
It's a pretty damning report.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm back into the double digits on skeletons if you keep them separate. But not bad. I'll just make some new ones. So I guess overall total losses on Winter's side, 68 skeletons, 13 warriors, and 8.5 zombies gave up their bodies for the cause in defense of Winter's people. So we now only have 90 skeletons. Well, plus a bunch of skeleton warriors. And we added to our ranks a bunch of weapons, which I need to report still. Bows, spears, swords, leather. Ooh, shields are going to be nice.
And chain?
139 shields. Ooh. Let's see.
If I have any other announcements to make, I've updated the Tabletop Audio track uses spreadsheet with all the good stuff, all the new stuff. It's fantastic. Tim over there keeps putting out good stuffs. So on the off chance you're watching, Tim of Tabletop Audio, keep up the good work.
And if not, he'll get your Patreon check at the end of the month. So.
That's true.
So yes, music courtesy of Tabletop Audio. Recap courtesy of Layla and Chris.
Ash Fires and Pixie Mixie. They're great. I don't think Dicing with Death would be the same without them.
It's become part of the... Yeah, I don't know what... Yeah.
Recaps are so
become part of the show. Because Winter Gods know we don't... we can't remember what happened last episode.
I don't remember.
So where are we going to pick up? And I guess I'm curious. If Mousifer lost close to 100, more like 80 soldiers of winter, how many sweet summer children fell in that battle? And I'm guessing at this point these aren't warriors, these are militia spears, right? These are little farm boys.
Yeah, if you count up the suits of armor, that'll tell you how many of them died. So 136 plus 19 is 155. It's a lot. They lost more than you did, by far. Those archers on their side just got ripped to shreds. That was a terrible sight. I think I cut you off, though.
I wasn't saying. No, I'm adding their armor to my equipment sheet. Let's see. And I think this will it'll mean that everyone has leather armor, and I think every skeleton is going to get a shield, which is nice. Most of some of my skeleton warriors are going to get upgraded to chain. We need more animal sacrifices.
You need some pregnant horses is what you need.
Oh, yeah. Where are we going to find some wild horses? That might actually be priority number 1. Okay, I think I have copied down this equipment. All right, good. So where shall we pick up? I think Malcifer was unharmed in that battle.
Yes, you kept your a detachment
some souls
of Blood Knights with you, which really helps keep you safe. Yeah. The king needs a bodyguard, you know?
Or 17.
Yeah.
19 suits of chainmail. That's almost all of the archers. Oh no, but we just got a bunch of new bows. 20 new bows. What? Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of skeletal warrior archers. That's gonna be devastating. And so many soldiers. So are these bodies around strewn about warriors, or are they just considered ordinary folk?
Oh, are we still at the battlefield?
I think so.
I think so. I'm sorry. I have like your town music playing. But
yeah, no, I think this is the. Where was that battle? Where on this map was that battle? I mean, I don't think it was far.
Something like over here-ish.
Didn't they charge us? Or like
you saw they were coming this way, and then your skeleton reported
them, and we marched out to meet them in the field before they got to Winter's Reach.
Yeah, so it's somewhere in this area.
Yeah, somewhere in the woods.
Yeah,
and we deduced that this was likely a, I don't know what the word, like a coup. This was the army of Corval Estate. One of Corval's knights likely went rogue and marched his right out. His lord probably was thinking to go along with the yearly sacrifice thing.
And the knight's like, fuck that, let's just go kill him. And the knight then died and lost all his troops.
Yeah. And worse than that, all his troops are going to be raised back as the armies of the dead. It'll take a long time for us to get through that. So I think maybe this just stays a battlefield. So I guess the specialists are eventually going to gather. Do you want to set the scene at all? Where it was just the woods, right? It was just like a battlefield in the woods, right? That is now piled high with bodies. Yep. Blood is now flowing in rivers down to the down the slope to the river. How many corpses does it take to run a river red with blood? Is 150 enough?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rivers will run red with blood as it slowly pools in that direction.
There were survivors, right? Near half a company retreated into the woods, correct? And
more lived than died, I think, at the end of the day.
Oh, no, there were 3 companies, weren't there?
Yeah, and one got away.
So a company and a half got away.
Yeah,
I think one company, and then I bet many will desert, and one company may go crawling back to Pine Spur to throw in with them.
You know me too well. It's exactly what I did. And I was like, well, most of these guys are probably going to run. We'll only have one company surviving.
Well,
I mean, it makes sense, but...
Malcifer is a natural tactician. Wise beyond his years. And... yeah, I mean, so I think Malcifer is, rallying his troops in this battlefield for a while. Take maybe an hour or so to clean up the messes, sort through the equipment that can be salvaged. I think what's going to happen is the specialists will stay here to oversee, or at least some of the specialists will stay here to oversee the recycling of the battlefield. What would you call it? Scavenging.
Right.
Maybe with some company of... Actually, there's probably enough random zombies and things in the woods that I don't need to really subtract from the main force in order to deal with processing of this.
Oh, I see. So you just like gather the zombies that kind of wander through.
So probably for the next weeks there will be the remains of a battlefield here.
Mm-hmm.
Getting stripped of its valuables, including the life. What is it when nature eats itself? Circle of life? I don't know, scavengers, something along those lines.
You're just part of the circle of life, right?
In Lord Winter's view, yeah. In our philosophy, I think so. I think that's how he, right? These
how he justifies his
these dark powers are just part of the cycle that most of the Eridonian clergy fail to recognize. They don't realize that they're only one half of the circle.
These fools.
That this is just
can't be stopped.
Yeah,
it's the natural order of things.
Yeah, this is the world balancing itself out. So
are you gonna chill in the forest and raise these people, or just drag them all back to town? How do you want
they will
to
get processed and brought back to town. The limiting factor is my time and our availability of animals, I think. So are these warriors? Are the spears that they send against us all considered warriors by profession, by virtue of being rallied as a militia and handed spears? Is that enough of for the unleveled skeletons?
I would say some of them are probably warriors. Most of them are like peasants that have just been pressed into service, but some of them have been like pressed into service a few times.
What makes a warrior? I mean, if you're a militia and you hear your town bell ringing and they hand you a spear and tell you which end to poke with, does that not make your spirit the spirit of a warrior?
It does not make your spirit that of a warrior.
Right? It just calls for a...
Right, so like a local town guardsman who's a level 0 town guardsman would be a warrior. But I don't think like quickly pressed militia would be a warrior. Maybe if someone was like in the militia for a year, then they would have ascended to warriorness.
Okay.
So I think
still be a 0th level warrior though, or a 0th level character. There's still 0th level militiamen.
Yeah. All the town guards are 0th level folks.
Yeah, that actually makes my job easier because I can go, instead of having to worry about finding a source for large animals, we can just call in the rat catchers and the chicken farmers and recycle this battlefield. So I don't know that we're going to chase down the escaping company. I think I think Mouser figures they're going to flee all the way to Pine Spur. Deserters will scatter. Anyone within Winter's reach will be brought down by zombies in the woods or something eventually. So maybe some survivors will get dragged in, but I think we're content to just scavenge what we've got.
Sure. Actually, I'm going to make a quick amendment to what I've just said. The spearmen are non-warriors. The bowmen are warriors.
Interesting.
And then the knights are leveled warriors. So that should be 120 regular skeletons, 16 skeleton warriors, and 19 available blood knights.
19 available blood knights. Ooh-wee.
And I don't know if you saw it, but there's a new level 8 ability for you.
Oh, I don't think I did see that. I'm not level 8 yet, though.
No, you're not. You're not.
Okay.
But I do want to tantalize you with it.
Oh, there's you mean the summons? There's 2 new creations at level 8, aren't there?
No, I meant an ability.
Oh.
Yeah. There might be new summons, too.
Yes. Yeah, I see that. The summons are interesting at face value, but this requires reading.
Right. I also don't think I've detailed what those summons are. I think I've just written them down as ideas, and there's no notes.
All right. Well, we still have some level 7 toys to play with. We do need that pregnant mare.
Mm-hmm.
And we need animals to raise this battlefield. So I guess Mousefor will lead his army back to Winter's Reach. Specialists left behind to clean up the battlefield and to recruit whatever. I think we'll just say that they use guys that are about or that are around. Maybe one of these perimeter specialist companies pulls back to clean up the battlefield.
Okay.
The main force and Mousefor are eventually going to head back to Winter's Reach. I think I'll go ahead and rearrange bows now. Actually, maybe we'll just raise new ones if we can, rather than rearranging weapons amongst the dead that we have. So Mousefor heads back to Winter's Reach to gather the rat catchers, the chicken farmers, and the enterprising poachers with bringing in animals to exchange for coin.
Well, there are many rats that have been found. Huge numbers of rats.
And I think the butcher was taking care of this sort of stuff. Was he butchering rats? Was that where the level we had sunk to, or are those separate?
No. The food was still being produced as normal, I believe.
Yeah.
Someone was in charge of the rats.
I probably have that noted. Blair was a rat catcher. Blair was the only named rat catcher, but there were 3. Okay. And we've only got 1 chicken tender that I've noted, but I think there's more. There's farmers. Maybe I need to wait till level 8 to make this efficient. Yeah. So I think the specialists will just decompose the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to do any mass raising for now. But we will tap into the rat catchers. Chicken with Blair, with Carrie, with the butcher, and maybe we'll wait. Mousefor's got an errand to run. I think we've got to go looking for a nightmare.
Okay. How are you gonna find a nightmare?
None of my horses happen to be black, do they?
No.
Let's see what we've got. Livestock, or did we sacrifice all the horses? I got nothing. I got an indiscriminate number of pigs and 7 chickens. My NPCs are responsible for the livestock. I think I've turned that aspect of the balance over to you, because that does seem to be the limiting factor in how many skeletal warriors you can produce after a certain point, is how many large animals you can acquire.
The lower level skeletons are fine, but I think you're out of large animals. You have medium animals available. There should be a few pigs left around, and there's also the option of dogs. There are a few stray dogs about, and then many people have their own dogs.
Skeletons. So basic require small. Warriors require medium. Greater require large. And yeah. Okay. So we're going to scour the countryside for our mare. Is there who knows animals? Would it be the hunters? Would Hannibal know?
Your hunters and your farmers are going to be the ones with the most animal experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the Army of Winter's Reach, the rank and file, is parked just outside of the village, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Rank and file standing there at attention, awaiting orders.
Just waiting.
And Malsfer is headed into the village. And we'll, right, so we were looking after these various errands. We'll check in with Hannibal and ask, see if he's got any rumors for me.
Let's see. Does Hannibal have any rumors for you?
Well, specifically, I want to tell him that I need a horse, a mare, with, let's see if I can read these requirements. With black fur and mane. Do they call hair? Black hair. Does anyone in Winter's Reach or the outlying villages have any animals left?
He ponders for a moment. I believe Farmer Maggot down the way still has a horse.
Only one in town.
A black horse you requested, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe Farmer Maggot has a black horse.
That's easy enough.
Shall I fetch him?
Do I know where Maggot's farm is?
Yes, you would know.
All right. Then I will go see Farmer Maggot myself. I feel like probably Blood Knights are with me all the time now, right? That's just the sensible.
I think at this point that's a sensible thing. You've had assassins come after you.
Yeah, it's inconvenient to drag around that many. Like, so I don't think it's probably like a Secret Service situation where there are multiple layers of them, right? Because you can't. 17 Blood Knights aren't going to follow me into a building, right? They just can't fit.
Right.
So I think it'll just be like I don't know, however much space those things take up, right? So when I go into town to visit with Hannibal, there's just like a company of Blood Knights parked in the town square.
Yeah.
And when we head out to Maggot's farm, this company of Blood Knights, slinks and clinks through the woods, stands in the road up front. And we've said that the mage is with us, and I think another specialist too, probably. So we can say 2 specialists in the mage to round out to a full company of 20. Actually, 20 is not even a.
20 is not a full company.
20 is not even anything special, is it?
20 is a score. That's the definition of a score.
Yeah, but it has no bearing, and the 16 would be the magic number for.
Oh, I might have a group
weird battle system, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think at some point I had a platoon, but we scrapped it and went straight to company. Yeah. You could consider 20 a platoon of things.
So we'll just make that canon that there are Blood Knights floating around, and I think the specialists kind of keep them from doing anything awkward, like blocking doorways and things. They're probably smarter now, right? So like instead of, if I don't give them commands, instead of like just like a whole squad of Blood Knights being super awkward and like standing in front of the tavern door and keeping people from getting into it, they'll stand creepily next to the door.
Okay.
or like instead of all just like standing on the road outside of Farmer Maggot's house, I think it's kind of an indescript number that's kind of fan out into the outlying woods, and they just kind of secure the area, if you will. And we go to visit Farmer Maggot. I think maybe we go to his barn. We just walk on to his farm like we own the place, and
well, there is
go to inspect his farm.
Farmer Maggot in the fields, wiping sweat from his brow as he looks up to see you arriving. Comes on over, his black horse pulling a plow. He sort of just like plows a section towards where you are.
Mousifer ignores Farmer Maggot and goes to inspect the horse to see if it might be suitable. And actually, Mousifer, lordling that he is a proficient horse rider and animal handler. So I think he actually is qualified to take a look at this this horse and size it up. So ignoring Farmer Maggot, Mousifer walks up to the steed and puts a hand on its neck. Whether stopping it, or if maybe Farmer Maggot stopped it already. And let's size it up. I guess let's roll an animal handling check to control the creature. Is that a thing, or is it already?
Yes. It's a little nervous. There's a whole platoon of blood knights following you.
Just barely. Good thing I'm so wise.
I think I've fixed our dice stuff. I can put them back up for. Sorry, I've had the
dice.
Has
a natural intuition.
Out of our rolls hidden while
Mousifer looks over his shoulder and says, like, "Shoo, back!" It like hisses to like a skeleton that's poking poking over the fence nearby or something like that. And his blood knights sort of back away to give the animal a comfortable distance. And Mousifer sizes it up. I don't know how you check the gender of a horse.
You just look down, or you're good enough with horses that you can just visually tell.
Is this a mare, or are we out of luck?
No, it is a mare, certainly. And with a 21 animal handling check, you can feel it and listen to it, and you know it's not a pregnant mare. The winter gods are not that kind to you.
Yeah, that can be arranged. Is it a beautiful horse? Is it a fitting mount for a Lord of Winter? Or am I disappointed to look upon it?
It is a little scrawny. You know, you can see its ribs a little more than you ought to.
It can be fed. It can be changed. But
its fur is a little unkempt, unbrushed, dirty. There's brambles in it and knots in it. You know, it's seen better days. Maybe if you fed it and brushed it and touched it up, it would be. Can
we get can you roll a charisma or a
hotness check for the horse?
Hotness, yeah, can you roll a hotness skill for the horse?
It's by default 11, but right now it's looking like a 7 or an 8.
So it's not. So I'm not going to say this is a beautiful creature. Why do you have it dragging your plow?
Yeah.
It's a plow horse.
Yeah.
But in any case, this mare is not suited for this labor. Mousifer says, looking up and addressing Farmer Maggot for the first time.
Well, if this horse ain't suited for labor, who's gonna plow my fields?
I'm afraid the Lords of Winter must take possession of this mare immediately. And I begin to unhitch it from the plow.
What? Wait a minute, that's my horse!
Hannibal in town will see that you are compensated fairly. You use this to plow just the field, and I sort of look around.
Well, and get into town? And to carry my bags when we pick in the orchards?
You there! I shout to a specialist in the woods, whichever one is nearest.
It comes
Come
on
here,
over.
and it shambles over. Oh, wait there. And when it gets close enough, start freaking out the horse. I'm going to go issue a command to the specialist. Let's see. We got zombie monsters in the woods. Bear, snake. How about a stag? 2 stags could be enough. I got small, medium-sized animals. We'll see what it finds. There's some unnamed zombie monsters and animals in the woods. So I'll tell the specialist, assemble several zombie monsters and use them to pull this farmer's sled at his command. Is Farmer Maggot marked?
He is not marked at the moment.
Well, until we get him marked, I guess he's not gonna. The skeleton's just gonna plow the field for him. So I give that command to the skeleton. We'll see what comes of it. I've told him that he needs to see Hannibal for compensation, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this mare and walk off. Probably leaving him dumbfounded, or does he follow me to?
No, he looks back at the platoon of of blood knights and just stands there looking frustrated but terrified.
Yeah, so I can mark him if he asks, but I think if he stands there dumbfounded, we're just going to walk off with his mare. Sometime in the next day or two, a skeletal specialist is going to show up and start trying to plow his field with zombies. And
if he's not marked, that's not going to go well.
It's not going to go well. So I think the sensible thing for him to do is to eventually come to Hannibal or come to me and get some silver for his horse and get a brand for his wrist.
He will come into town later that day, like giving you a few hours to get a head start for him to process what just happened. And then he'll come in and demand his pay, which he will get. I guess he then comes to get his mark? That's been a known thing, right? That you are marking people.
Yeah, and right, we've done it in mass, in public, lined them up.
Right. Yeah, he's not that dumb of a guy. He'll come and get his mark, too.
Okay. Okay. Does he come to my estate to ask for it, or do I just get word?
I think...
and I'll sacrifice a soul.
Yeah, I think Hannibal will send him to your estate for it.
Okay. And I'm up here getting this mare settled into the stables. I instruct Tomas or Carrie, who's ever around, to tend to this mare. Get it ample food. Do horses eat any meat?
They're omnivores technically, but they're. I think they're mostly herbivores.
I think we're gonna. Are they? I think for purposes of creep factor, we're gonna get this mare fat on. On the butcher's scraps. Rose Grove's patented fertilizer. Whatever we can do to fatten the mare up. I'm going to subtract 2 years for the mark. Is that what it is?
Mark of servitude. It is 2 years.
Okay. So at some point, the farmer maggot comes by. We've seen the marking before. But, actually, maybe we should do it in the meeting room with the throne. We'll think about that. I think for now it's still got to be next to the fireplace in the parlor. But we'll have to see about getting like a brazier next to the phone or next to the throne, so that we can sit on our throne. And I
thought you said next to the phone. I was like, what phone?
I did say I misspoke.
Okay.
Slip of the tongue. Next to the throne. All right, and years are subtracted. We've seen the
ritual
mark
many
of
a
servitude
times
before, but we pull out the old brand and
press it into his flesh.
Yeah,
he grunts in pain, his teeth gritting.
Yeah, we go through the bit of at least getting his getting his nonverbal consent. don't want to waste a ritual on an unwilling subject that rejects it. But Farmer Maggot bears the mark of servitude. It would be helpful if I were higher level and I could give him the mark of command so that he could boss his zombie farm animals around. But...
Well, that is the spell that I'm writing right now because I realized that we have a need for it and it didn't get put in.
Oh, it didn't? I thought I saw it as a higher level ability.
I don't think so.
What level is it?
7.
So is this does anything special have to get done? Do we need to
I was going to call it Mark of Allegiance. But maybe Command is better.
I feel like I read a Mark of Command somewhere. Was that in a previous version?
It might have been in a previous version that got scrapped, you know. There have been many changes.
So does anything special need to get done, or is it just like at this level that's...
At this level, there's a separate ability that you mark them, similar thing, but they get command over a subset of undead that you would say, like so all skeletons or all zombies or whatever.
Okay. Are you imagining that being something that is separate? Like I'll have to go and craft a different brand, or is it just given that my intention is for this guy to be able to command his zombie farm animals?
It will be
I'm a powerful necromancer. That's just what this is.
I think it's a different brand that goes like on top or over. So if like your first brand is your symbol, like the X's across, then the second one might be like horns or like hooks coming off of the X's as like an embellishment on the existing one. You'll have to like match up the brands correctly so that you press it in the right way and it forms the right searing pattern on the flesh.
That sounds like some research that I'm not going to bother with for now. I guess we've got a blacksmith, but necessity is the mother of invention, so I don't think that's an actual problem yet. The specialist can bumble through his field for a few days before he comes demanding command over the undead. I guess no rush on the spell. It's whatever.
Right.
I don't particularly care about my farming efficiency, and I kind of like the idea of a
specialist.
A specialist like strapping a couple zombie monsters to a plow and just like mindlessly dragging it through this guy's field. Not necessarily effectively. I'm not sure if a specialist is smart enough to.
Yeah, they can plow.
They can play. Yeah, they can tear up the earth.
If you have an idea of what plowing entails,
once they start running over like already plotted, like already planted plants, or something like that's bound to happen. Or they just like plow right over his fence and decide
right through the fence into the neighbor's field
needs to be extended. Plow into his living room. At some point, he's bound to require me to invent a more elaborate mark, but nah. Right. So now we need to start our horsey breeding program. Probably takes years to breed your own horses, right? Like if I want to.
I mean, if you want like to breed and create lots of horses, sure. But if you just need to get one horse knocked up, you know, they go into heat every so often. Just make sure you got some stallions around.
Yeah, so we need to now scour those. But I think we're gonna. So we're gonna fatten this horse up, and then we're gonna start.
Did you already sacrifice your horses?
I think we sacrificed all of our horses to make blood knights.
Oh no! Okay.
It was a math. We were desperate, and there was a convenient math thing where we needed exactly 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
For 2 large animals. That's what it was. Maybe it was the. We turned them into like skeletal horses or something useful, right?
I think so.
Need more. So I think we'll go back to Hannibal later that day, and with more talk, more feverish talk of black steeds. What Hannibal must think of his master. comes in rambling. Right? I must have every black horse in this land. Do you know if there are rumors of other horses in the outlying countryside?
Certainly, my lord.
Even outside of the border?
The Lindell Plain and Darton Plain have many good horses.
Wild horses?
No, my lord. There are no wild horses left in Gadia.
Oh, Lindell and Darton, that's a long way. Okay. Okay, so yeah. That's great. So that was going to be my original plan.
Perhaps we could send someone to purchase a horse and bring it back.
How long? Let's see.
One of the nearby abandoned towns surely must have a watercraft we could take along the coast.
No, that's just fine. I can see to this myself. How far, as the bat flies, would you guess the Lindell Plain is from here?
Ooh, 4.25 miles.
Is that
25.
Yeah, how fast do animals fly? Like
monstrous manual bat movement speeds. 24. Wow.
So that means you could go 24 miles in
That's 7 miles an hour.
7 miles an hour?
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, so I think we'll just go right here. Maybe Hannibal doesn't need to see, or if he does see, it's like out the corner of his eye. By now it's probably getting towards evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect time for bats to fly. So Malsford is going to leave Hannibal's hut or wherever we're meeting in the center of town.
Mm-hmm.
Walks a little ways, either down an alley or behind a tree, out into the woods, and then Malsford reaches into his pocket or whatever to his bandolier. And pulls forth a jar of pickled bat hearts. Unscrewing the jar, Malsford sticks 2 fingers in and plucks out a brownish, dripping bat heart and pops it in his mouth.
You consume it.
And inside my necromantic soul, I hold the essence of this mammal's life force. It takes 3 HP and 5 years. Is that correct?
I believe so. And the 3 HP is held, so it cannot be restored until the bat form is used.
Yeah. And it bypasses spirit armor, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. I'm down to like an 18 HP, basically. So I'm bat formed with a spirit armor. Or I hold the essence, right? I don't immediately turn into a bat.
Right. You hold it in your body.
Right, but in theory, I could hold it and go wander around until I use it.
Right. You have the power of the bat inside you.
But we use it immediately and transform into a bat here. Actually, hold on a second. I am curious. I did about my armor. I know we were in the midst of this lovely narrative, but I did want to check if the blacksmith is still hammering away on that breastplate.
Yes.
All right, we'll go on without it then. We're turning into a bat.
You turn into a bat and take off through the night. As you fly, soft rains begin to fall, and as you cruise over the Blumwood, you can see in the distance the thick, heavy thunderheads are making their way towards Gadia from the north. By the time you reach the Lindell Plain, there's lightning and thunder about. You seem to be fine.
Seems like a dramatic spot to take a break, or shall we?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
We will end
off into the night.
bat flying through the night, reaching the Lindell Plain, seeing little dots of light coming from villages scattered all over the place. It's a few hours after the sun has gone down. We'll return on the other side of our break. Bye.